Hello everyone, and welcome to the Ducktales Remastered review. Ducktales Remastered is a game released for PlayStation 3, Xbox 360, Wii U, iOS, and PC. It is based not just on the DuckTales cartoon show from back in the 80s, but also the NES game of the same name, also from back in the 80s. The entire game is like a love letter to retro platformers, but with a fresh coat of paint, new graphics. It takes such inspiration that it even has remixes of the songs from the original game. Now that's cool. The game sees you play as Scrooge McDuck, who arrives home one day to find his mansion has been broken into by the Beagle Boys, a group of criminals who are constantly stealing to support their schmackos addiction. After defeating them, you find out that they have stolen your most valuable fortunes and hid them in places around the world. I'm not sure why they wouldn't just sell them on eBay or at a market or something, but then again I'm not a petty thief. So off Scrooge goes, with his friends, to rescue the treasures. Gameplay is simple. You choose which level you want to play, Mega Man style, and then you have to complete the objective within that level. Gameplay sees you walking left and right in detailed levels and defeating enemies, completing your goals along the way. You only have one weapon at your disposal, a cane that you can bounce around on and boop enemies on the head with, like a pogo stick. It doesn't seem massively powerful, but it worked out well in the Leprechaun movies, so what do I know? The levels vary quite a bit, with no two levels being similar. The locations you visit are Scrooge's mansion, the Amazon jungle, Transylvania, the Himalayas, and an African mine. You can tell that way forward the developers took their time to expertly craft each level to have a fun flow and feel distinct from each other. My personal favourite was the African mines, as you get to ride around in a minecart like in Donkey Kong Country, but in my opinion, this game does it way better as Donkey Kong Country makes it way too difficult. Each level ends with a boss fight that ranges from somewhat challenging to a decent challenge. Neither the bosses nor the base game itself is extremely difficult, which is fine as I'm pretty sure the game was made for people of all ages. I like the Yeti boss fight most of all, as I like boss fights that pit a tiny hero against a giant foe, like David vs Goliath. Graphics are beautiful, being hand-drawn 2D sprites on a 3D background. Some scenes look just like the show, some even better. I'm usually not a fan of this graphic style as I think the 2D contrasts with the 3D, this game does it well. Everything is colourful and vibrant, and unlike some other games of this style, I can immediately tell what everything is and whether or not it will hurt me. There's also a lot of secrets to find that aren't on the minimap, and those are always fun to find. They can lead to gems that you pick up for points, or if you're lucky, a giant gem that will extend your life bar permanently. Though after you have found a few of these, the game does get fairly easy, as being able to tank more hits allows you to play with less caution. DuckTales Remastered has massive replay value as you can replay the levels to find both more gems and to find the hidden collectibles. As the game is only about 3-4 hours long, this is a great thing to help increase the game's overall length. 3 hours is not very long at all, but it does allow you to beat it in a single sitting. The music is amazing. Retro-inspired chiptune music at its finest. For the longest time I had the Moon theme as my ringtone on my phone because I liked it that much. There's something about great upbeat video game music that just gets that happy dopamine pumping into the veins. Maybe I should convince the radio people at work to start playing more of it, though they did play Castlevania theme during Halloween one year, which was awesome. But only for 1 year, the bastards. Nothing but great things to say about the music and sound effects. The game is also fully voice acted by the cast of the original show, which considering Alan Young, the voice of Scrooge McDuck, was 93 when he recorded his lines, is nothing short of fascinating. They could have easily used people who did impressions, but they went the extra mile to get the original cast. That's some dedication to the craft right there. I've seen people say the cutscenes ruin the gameplay because they interrupt it, but they are skippable, so I don't consider this criticism to be valid. As for the price of the game can be purchased for about $20 new on any of the platforms it is available on. I like to own physical copies of my games, but opted for the PlayStation 3 version. I'm sure it goes down even cheaper than that during Steam sales, and you could probably find this game in a used game store for under $15 as well. $20 does seem like a little bit much for a game that only lasts 2 to 3 hours at most, but if you find it on sale, I'd definitely say pick it up. There's a lot of fun to be had, and even though the game is 5 years old at this point, it's still just as fun as it was when it was released. It was made to be timeless, and that's what it is. I'm not a fan of ratings for games, because different games should be rated differently based on their own merits and failings. So instead of being held to a standard number, I'm just going to let you guys decide whether you want to buy the game based on my review. For example, I consider both Blue Stinger and Sonic Adventure 2 on the Dreamcast to be equal games because of how much I enjoy both of them. Even though objectively Sonic Adventure 2 is a much better all-around game, and Blue Stinger is objectively a bad game, but I enjoy both of them equally, so they would get the same rating. I also consider Silent Hill 3 to be a better game than Resident Evil 4, even though Resident Evil 4 is a better all-around game. I like Silent Hill 3 more because I find it more enjoyable and engaging. But in saying this, I won't be giving games a review score, but instead just letting you decide if you want to play them based on what you heard in the review. If you think this sounds like a fun game that is worth your time and money, check it out. Love old 80s cartoons, like 2D platformers, I guarantee you will love this game. Buy it and enjoy it. Thanks for listening to this review. Hope you enjoyed the video, and give it a like if you want. See you guys later.